Happy Hump Day, everyone. It is I, Alex, from Sandro Says, also known as Ken Fresno to some of my close friends, along here with my closest friend, Zygmunt Lawrence Zito, Ziggy, playing with his ring. If you were here last night, or yesterday rather, he left his rings downstairs, and he has like 9 pairs of them, but he needed to bring the studio pair down, so he was upset last stream. So now he's back to normal. We're back to having fun here. Today we have a cool stream planned. I saw Elliot Page decided to open his mouth about masculinity, and it was just a really funny segment. Ilana something is another one that's a lot of fun to watch. So we're gonna get into that, but first hit the like button, please, if you're new here. Subscribe if you enjoy this content. Leave a comment, and also I just wanted to say first, this morning I had a ridiculous. I just had a. It was shocking. Get up, get ready to walk Zig, take him out. First thing we see is this baby bunny that's like on the walkway, and it's got flies around it, but it seemingly is still alive. And it didn't look like super alert. Like I didn't know what was going on. Ziggy wasn't like he wasn't like attacking it. Ziggy was just like looking at it. Like Ziggy was curious too. So I went inside. I got the smallest plate I had, like a little paper plate, and I got water. I put the water in it. I put it near it. It didn't want the water. It went and hid near an air conditioning unit. I Googled around what to do because I was like, I can't take this thing in because I don't know if it has a disease or what's going on because I got Ziggy. But I don't want it to sit outside. It's going to be like in the 90s here today. And I didn't know the deal like with parents. And I also know with animals, like you're not supposed to touch them when they're babies because then the parents might never go back to them and all that type of stuff. So it's like, I didn't know what to do. I just didn't want this thing fucking dying in front of me. So Googled around, they said call animal control. Animal control, the lady on the phone was like, yeah, we'll definitely help it. We'll figure out what's going on. And then the guy called and he's like, yeah, if I come out there, I'm going to end up having to euthanize it. So it's better that we leave its chances up for nature. And I was like, all right, I guess that makes sense. I'd rather you not just come out here to kill it. I thought you guys would like try to rehabilitate it or something. And yeah, but he did reassure me. He was like, no, sometimes the parents, they stay within they stay at a distance from the babies, so they're watching them, but they can still see what they're doing, just to let them learn, I guess, and stuff. So since I didn't touch it and I didn't go near it, everything should be cool. I haven't been able, I went back out on another walk with Zig a little while ago. Couldn't find it. So at the moment, hopefully it found a nice place to chill, get some food, get some water and all that. But I just didn't expect it. It reminded me of it reminded me, seeing it as soon as I woke up, was when I lived in New York and I got overrun by mice. The apartment building I was in, it was a new construction, and they never cleared out the mice from the area. Basically, when you do a new construction, the animals that live there are displaced or they move into the construction if you don't properly take care of them once you seal it up. So they were just moving from apartment to apartment. The guy next to me was a trash hole. I had someone else in the same apartment down the hall that died, and like nobody found him for weeks. Like the place was a mess. But we got overrun by mice, so I finally got an exterminator in there. I finally got them to pay for one because I was tired of putting out traps. I had traps where I was catching 2 mice at a time in the same trap, because they were both feeding on the peanut butter, and then the trap finally got them. That was when I said no more. I'm either suing you guys for this, or you're going to send a exterminator. They sent this dude, and he came with like the nuclear green stuff that they put in like special areas, and then the mice take it back to their home and die. Well, I didn't see any other mice except the first morning after that happened. I woke up and I'm walking in the kitchen, and there's this mouse, like 95% dead, like eking across my floor, like trying to get back to the home or something. I don't know what it was trying to do. So I just put it in. I put it in like a dustpan, and I fucking took it to the garbage. And I was like, later, dude, I didn't know what else to. I felt bad at that point. It's fucking dead. It already took the poison. So it was just. But it was creepy as hell seeing the thing crawl across my floor. It's not what I expected to see first thing in the morning. So. Anyway, the meat of the matter today is we want to learn about masculinity from Elliot, dear Elliot Page. Excuse me. For those of you who are not aware, Elliot Page, I'm going to use the names interchangeably here. Elliot Page was once a young actress named Ellen Page. You might have seen her in a movie called Inception, another movie called Juno. I saw her way back in the day on a show called The Trailer Park Boys. She was a young, goofy actress. She wasn't anything special, but she was kind of like, she fit that role of like awkward teen to like 20-something-year-old. She fit it really well. Someone who was unsure of themselves. She did it in X-Men. Then they ended up casting her at Umbrella Academy. She did it really well there. And she didn't do it. It wasn't forced. It wasn't like the Aubrey Plaza version of Awkward, where it's like she was in X-Men 3, yeah, as Kitty Pryde. But it wasn't. It's not the Aubrey Plaza version of Awkward, where it's like forced. Ellen Page had a really genuine way of being awkward, being herself kind of thing, on screen at least. I don't know anything else. And I'm not trying to dead name, but when they were Ellen Page, I'm going to refer to this person as Ellen Page. And then when they started going as Elliot, let me put some ground rules here for how I view this whole thing. I'm not out to. I don't want to go out of my way to hurt someone's feelings. There's no need for me to call someone if they want to be called a certain name, if they want to be identified a certain way. It doesn't affect my life negatively to do that. The bathroom thing, I think that there's perverts that are not transgender also. So stigmatizing a group of people as like they're all perverts when they go to the bathroom, it's like if you've ever been to a gym as a male, you know that the gay dudes in those gyms, in those locker rooms are wild and out, and they have been for years. So it's like I don't like that they've stigmatized these people as like they're evil in the bathroom. Where it's like across the spectrum of humanity, people are evil in bathrooms and stuff. So let's just leave that at the door. The one that I struggle with is the sports. I don't think that you should have biological males competing against biological females because there's studies about muscle mass and bone density and height and weight differences. So and the results speak for themselves, where unfortunately these people that have transitioned are predominantly winning in certain sports. And they're also unfortunately causing injuries too. There was a volleyball team in California that quit their season and not postponed, but they refused to play a team with a transgender person on it because that transgender person had, elbowed someone to the floor and cracked their skull the week before. Because again, it's like you're talking about an 18-year-old born boy playing against 18-year-old born girls. It's just there's usually a difference there. I'm not saying every single male is bigger than and faster than every single female, but it's the fact of the science of it if you look at the statistics. So that's my baseline about the whole transgender issue. I'm not out to hurt anyone's feelings. I think they're just people doing their thing. I don't I think, it seems to be in right now. I don't know if it's just kind of like a fad almost, where people are doing it just to try it. I think people are starting to identify as other things, as we'll see in this interview. Alana Glazer starts saying how she's a non-binary woman. I still don't understand exactly what all of that means. I can't really wrap my head around it. I think it's just people need to identify as something nowadays to stand out. For a while there in the 2000s, a lot of women would identify as bi. A lot of guys too, but mostly women would identify as bi to have something like edgy about them, but they never actually dated a woman or went out with a woman or did anything. So I don't know how much, because you see things in society, it happens again and again. So back to Ellen Page. So like I said, Ellen Page was a fine actress for all these years, was doing the Umbrella Academy as this character, and then decides, I'm going to be a dude now. So in the middle of the Umbrella Academy, instead of an actor acting and just continuing the character they'd been, they said, no, we need to write this into the storyline. We need to shoehorn this into the storyline of how the character went from whatever the hell it was, Victoria to Victor or something like that. And it lost a lot of people because the show was about other things, and then it had to put this stuff front and center, which it was unfortunate. So Elliot, whatever the hell, has been Elliot now for 5 years, I think. I believe the transition happened in late 2020. So this is someone speaking in this interview we're about to watch that's been doing this only, not doing this, but being this person for 5 years out of their 40, I think. They're close to my age, probably. So let's see exactly what they have to say about their journey into masculinity and all that type of stuff. Please hit like on the video. Let's see what Zen Master Elliot Page thinks about being a man.
I've been asking people about masculinity and femininity. We are seeing so much, and I mean our entire lives, we've seen so much unhealthy masculinity, so much sickness in this world, specifically through the lens of men. And in your gender journey, which to me, as someone who knows you, but also as someone consuming you as a public figure, to me, you appear healthy and continually finding more health and security. What does...
Okay, first things first. I can't keep a straight face with these people. Especially Ilana Glazer. I know she did that show with the other Ilana for a bit. I never really found her version of comedy funny. There are funny comedians, like comedian women comedians. Ilana Glazer is not one of them. So her being one of the voices of comedy is hilarious to me. But when you watch this podcast, if you can actually hear this, if you can listen to this without falling asleep, because when you're listening to this podcast, they talk in such a monotone, inoffensive, we are not here to confront, we are not here to be angry, we are not here to be mean. There is no personality to the way that this podcast is presented, is talked as anything. It's almost as if it's like a sleep aid. So as we go through this, listen to this.
What does it mean to you to hear me say healthy masculinity?
Healthy masculinity to me is, or even just something I've felt as transitioning, is like leaning away from whenever there is some sort of impulse or expectation you've put on yourself to like shut down or conform in a way that usually feels like this, like I am closing off.
Where is Elliot getting the idea of masculinity from? Like, where, if you grew up as a woman and then all of a sudden in your 30s say, I'm a man now, where did you come up with this idea, this baseline, this thought that you need to be closed off? Where did it come from? Where does this stem from? Why are you saying what a man is when you just became one? As a 5-year-old wouldn't know what they were yet. So you're just getting into this experience. I don't get that. So let's just get, okay.
I remember kind of being like, oh, Elliot, maybe you should, talk with your hands a little less. Or,
Yeah, because Italians and Brazilians and people around the world don't talk with their hands. It's only women that talk with their hands. You dumb fuck.
Maybe in pictures, because ever since transitioning, now I'm like, Johnny, I am smiling. I am smiling in those photos.
No man talks this way, first of all. No straight man. And I don't know how they identify. I don't understand what happens once you transition, what the whole situation is. But we're going to look at this in a minute. The photos that Elliot, I'm smiling in those photos. I'm smiling. And Elliot in a second says, oh, but in my old photos, I was always...
Whereas I used to be so... I could barely look at a photo of myself. I was always like, and now...
I could barely look at it. So we're going to compare the pictures of Ellen Page to Elliot Page. And you tell me which ones look happier.
And I'll be say a dude's like, hey, are you Victor from Umbrella Academy? And we're doing a photo together. He's very... I'm very...
Yeah, well, that's a great freeze frame. No one's walking up to him saying, yo, dude, are you Victor from Umbrella Academy? This looks like the nerdiest motherfucker in the universe. You would not... My point earlier of saying that Ellen or Ellietta, whatever the hell the name used to be, had like a niche role of acting they could pull off where they were this quirky, nerdy but cool girl. Whereas as a guy, there's a million of these unsure, nerdy guys out there with no personality. So you've played yourself into a corner now where you can't be hired except if it's for a headline grab like they're doing in the Odyssey. Because if you look at Elliot's IMDb, it is completely dried up. It's just random voiceovers and stuff. It's nothing substantial since this shit happened. So...
and like having that moment where I'm like, oh, should I also not? Like, should I also be
closed off?
It's just like, what the fuck, Elliot? What are you talking about? Like, oh, honey, you're the part of the problem.
Oh, honey, you're so toxically masculine. What the fuck are we even talking about here? How are you deciding what's toxic? How are you deciding what's masculine at this point? The problem is masculinity is not, it's not seeing the Marlboro Man and saying, I want to ride a horse and smoke cigarettes and wear a cowboy hat. It's just wanting to be the coolest guy in the room. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's just wanting to be cool. Being masculine, it's just, if you want to smile in that picture, if you feel like smiling that day, you fucking smile. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to conform to what you think. I mean, no true man that is sure of themselves in their 30s, 40s, older, walks around like wondering, like, what would a real man do in this situation? That's something that's high school shit. You don't think that way. Nobody thinks that way. And then you have this dipshit over here, Ilana, who is just listening like a therapist going, So it's just letting Elliot go on this rant about bullshit. It's really fucking fascinating to me.
So I think it's, to me, healthy masculinity would be, well, you know what, healthiness for anyone to just, love themselves, be able to care for themselves, ideally get rest when they can, like just the practical basic, drink water.
What?
Like, eat a banana,
Masculinity is getting rest? What? What the fuck is she talking about? Eating a banana? If you have a cramp, what are we talking? Is this advice for before a 5K? I would not have the balls if I transitioned either way or to anything after 5 years to start defining what it is. The goal of this human being to do that, it's as an actual man, it bothers you because you're not allowed to complain about this stuff. It's like they're allowed to have their opinion, but God forbid I have mine. And I have no problem with them transitioning. You know what? If this was 20 years from now and Elliot wanted to come out and talk about what it's been like to live as a masculine man in society for 20 years, that's something I would listen to. That's something I would be curious about at that point. It's still through the lens of someone in Hollywood, someone with millions of dollars being coddled by Hollywood. It's not someone living in Kansas that transitioned and is literally living that life as a masculine man, figuring it out. It's like it's different when you're in Hollywood. Let's be honest here. But I would still give more credence if there was more time passed here. 5 years to me, 5 years isn't long enough to learn like a language proficiently. Like really learn it like where you could live among the people. So it's 5 years is long enough to learn the entirety of what a man is when we can't even identify the difference of man and woman. The logical fucking spider web that we've weaved ourselves into here with all these thoughts is just baffling to me. So.
And also just, doing what you can to be intentionally and mindfully not letting yourself get like swayed or twisted by.
I also wanted to mention the word salads here because this is I can't think of who else does this besides Kamala Harris, but it definitely seems like a female trait, no offense for some of these people. But the word salad, where I have no idea what they're saying here. This is not a concise sentence. No human talks like this. Ellen, whatever, is examining every single thing that's coming out of their mouth so much because they want to come across a certain way because they need to present masculinity through their lens of what they think a man is. But that's not reality. That's not what being a man is. I hate to break it to you. Being a man is probably a lot like being a woman. We both have successes. We both have benefits and strengths. We both have weaknesses and problems. Like, they're really not that fucking different. It's the same. It's it's two sides of the same coin. So this is really something special today.
The rules that I feel like end up like leading to so many of the problems that we see that are, do get inflicted by toxic masculinity, violence and abuse, just general.
The only man that perform violence. It's only men that abuse.
Well, cruelty. And yeah, I think it's just like healthy masculinity.
So what is your fucking view of masculinity then, if all masculinity is toxic masculinity? I don't get the point Elliot's trying to make. That only effeminate masculinity is acceptable? Then what the fuck are we talking about here? Just be a girl again. What is toxic masculinity if you're not willing to embrace some of it, I guess, as just masculinity? It's not toxic. It's not mansplaining. It's just explaining. Like, I know sometimes we mansplain, but then sometimes women-splain. Like, we're both sides of the same fucking coin, people. It just really frustrates me here when this person's breaking it down like it's astrophysics.
Masculinity could just mean a really good cry. And like,
let's hear that again.
Healthy masculinity could just mean a really good cry.
Healthy masculinity commit. What the fuck are we? What? There's nothing wrong with crying, people. All right, but that's just healthy humanity. That's not healthy masculinity or healthy femininity. Women aren't supposed to cry more than men. Some men cry more. Like if you're in the Dabbleverse like I am, you see Karmit. He cries every fucking day. There's men that are broken out there. There's women that are broken out there. There's women I know in my family that were so fucking strong, like these old Italian women, they wouldn't fucking cry for anything. But then there's Italian men, oh, Maron, they cry over anything. It's fucking insane. Italian women are way tougher than Italian men. And that's just what I can speak from my own fucking experience. So, it's just, I don't like this thing. The whole separation never made sense to me. When I was growing up, my dad worked different. My dad worked shorter hours than my mom. My mom was the real breadwinner girl. My dad made food. He was the one that cooked for us and stuff. He was the one that made the breakfasts and made the fucking lunches and stuff. That was life. I didn't have to be taught that shit. I grew up in a neighborhood where most people only had one person working and all the women just sat at home. Where my mom was working long hours. And my dad was home with us most of the time. Like, he worked shorter hours. He was still doing dental work. He was getting paid well. But he was the one that was really doing a lot of the housework and stuff at the time. The cleaning and shit. The yard work. Like, I never saw it as a separation of man versus woman. I saw it of just two people doing what they need to do. That could apply to two men, two women, a man and a woman. It could apply to anything. Like, it's just... It's a fact of life. It doesn't have to be one way or the other, but you also don't have to break it down in such a fucking stupid way. Like Elliot's trying to be smarter than the room and explain to men or explain to people what masculinity is. Whereas I'm trying to explain it, it's really masculinity is just being a human. There is no masculinity. It's whatever you want it to be if you're a man. Whatever it gives you, whatever makes you feel good and whatever makes you feel badass when you walk into a room. You know, like Johnny Lawrence or something like that. I'm not saying you have to kick everyone's ass or get into fights, but something where you just need to have that bit of, you know, that swagger and stuff going on. That's same thing with being a woman, though. Same thing with femininity. Maybe she wants to dress up. Maybe she wants to show off on the sport field. Maybe she wants to lift weights. Maybe she wants to do 5Ks. Maybe she wants to be an artist. Those things could all wrap into femininity, depending how you want to look at it. It's myopic to say, well, I've seen masculine men on TV, and that's what I'm going to be a masculine man based on, because I'm Elliot Page now. And go fuck yourself.
And like, I just want to make sure I'm always like leaning away from that pull to shut off emotionally.
I'm hearing like an open.
Now, no man talks like that, but now listen to how Alana talks, where Alana can just speak. Alana's just speaking like a human being. As much as I hate her, she's speaking like a human being. Elliot is very robotic. It's terrible.
Yes. Yeah.
Practicing.
From that pull to shut off emotionally.
I'm hearing like an openness.
Yeah.
Practicing opening.
Yeah.
Because it's so true, like a closed off. And
it happened, and the closed off could lead to just impatience. It could lead to whatever it is. I'm trying so much to just be like, when that happens, it's like, Elliot, shoulders back, take a few breaths. It really makes a difference.
But when we are organized through this such a strict, rigid system, the pressure to conform, we don't realize how that pressure to conform is suppressing our health, restricting our nervous system. This is kind of what I was like thinking about being in love and the relaxation. And my journey with gender and sexuality has like opened up so much since becoming a parent. The physical.
Let's hear about this dipshit now. And how growing another human inside them made them realize they were non-binary.
Experience of making a person and then getting that person out of my body, like that has been a huge touchstone for me for opening up my own pressure to conform. Like it was in my pregnancy that I realized I identify as non-binary, as a non-binary woman. In pregnancy. And that was when my sex like opened up. And actually I was able to finally take in the relax and the surrendering to my partner that
if we're being honest with ourselves here, 20 years ago to 30 years ago, this is the type of person you would see ranting to themselves at the bus stop or in the park. This is not the way a normal person speaks. I don't care that times have changed. This is utter bullshit. I need to hear it one more time.
My own pressure to conform. Like it was in my pregnancy that I realized I identify as non-binary, as a non-binary woman in pregnancy. And that was when my sex like opened up. And actually I was able to finally take in the relax and the surrendering to my partner that I didn't realize, I didn't even know how tightly I was holding on to it. But it is that pressure to conform that restricts us, that we don't even know we're being held so tightly by. And it's...
What is she talking about? Can you give one example of this pressure that is killing you from the inside by being a woman or being a man or being anything? Don't these people have real problems? That's how you can tell this is Hollywood elite bullshit. This is first world problem horse shit. You can tell because it's people making up things that are wrong. It's people making up pressures that don't exist. It's making up things that are holding you back that don't exist. And then you say, well, I'm a non-binary woman. That's not non-binary. What the fuck are we doing here? What? I understand society hasn't fully circled the drain yet. But we're getting close, man. Like we've passed the Mistoline man that's sitting there on the top of the toilet keeping things fresh. We passed him. We're getting low on the water here, man. This is embarrassing. As a human being, this is embarrassing. Letting this person having a podcast and saying such stupid things to millions of or tens of people. I don't know.
It's painful for everybody. It's cruel. You saying cruelty as related to the patriarchy, it's unfortunately true. You know, the trans experience.
Conforming to masculinity or femininity in your own mind is not cruel. You are creating these own boundaries and these own problems. No one has ever had a problem conforming to masculinity or femininity until people decided they were going to start playing hopscotch with their genders and shit. I don't even know what to fucking say, man. This is just...
of finding your comfort in your body is particularly visible, and yours as a person who's been famous for so long is particularly pronounced. But this is actually emblematic of how everybody feels in this society, wrong in their bodies. As women being told we're too fat, we're too thin, not curvy enough, too curvy. Cis men are taking tea. Cis men take tea and then are loudly transphobic, podcasters, whatever. And we're missing this.
What are you talking about? These are all made up issues. Not everyone is uncomfortable in their body. I thank God I still have a body that works. I could have had a much worse disease than Crohn's disease that's fucking with me. I don't know what... These people come off from such a pedestal of fucking, like... They're living in a different universe than the rest of us. They don't realize how out of touch they sound. That, again, their biggest problems are that you don't match a magazine's version of hot. Get the fuck out of here.
We're missing this.
Get out of here, millionaire.
The opportunity for the trans experience to be this like just particularly pronounced and accessible example of finding your true self.
One thing I feel really fortunate about like, you know,
Can't have a fucking
getting
sentence.
nominated for an Oscar when I was 20 or whatever. And having that happen when I was so young and in that period feeling the worst, like absolutely just not okay. And those years following, and to learn that lesson so young, like to go, like, I actually don't, that's not what I care about. And something's not okay here. And like, to be in a place now where I can like reflect on that and like just sort of where my priorities are, where they are creatively.
Give this person a choice. Would they give back that Oscar and all their fame, but have been born a man? I think we all know the answer.
Like, there's just, I feel so lucky to have learned that young, that you could have this thing that everyone's saying is the dream come true, and people's obsession with fame and, oh, you know, or what success means. And don't get me wrong, of course it comes with, you know, it helps your career, of course. But I just mean like,
Of course. It led to millions in contracts, of course, but that's not a big deal. That's really, that means nothing. It has nothing to do with it. I'm above all that stuff. I'm just like you guys.
it gave me such a, I think, profoundly important lesson so young. And in some ways, I feel like that relates to, like, you know, conformity, or, you know, how people think they should, you know, approach life, or they get lost in an idea of what success means to them or what have you. And like, in terms of my transness, I feel so lucky because I feel like I've gone from a place where I could barely function, I was so uncomfortable, to now kind of no matter what's going on, like, my feet are on the ground.
Could barely function while working as an award-winning actress. Got it.
And I had to do all that digging, and I had to, like, scrape through all those layers and not worry about what people were going to say or think and all that. And gosh, when you do get, like, feel like liberated from that and that shame that you've been carrying, like, that is what I would wish for everybody. For everybody. And I do think that's what trans and gender non-conforming people can offer. And of course, people in power, what have you, these, like, you know, white supremacist patriarchal structures don't want people to feel liberated.
Yeah.
And feel that sense of power and feel that sense of possibility.
I don't think they want to keep you from that. I just think they want you to shut the fuck up about it. That's all.
Yeah.
Kimberly, angel of the chat, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a good hump day, young lady.
Nor do they want to lose a societal structure that, you know, keeps so many people oppressed and resources extracted and everything that it leads to.
That is so brilliant. Okay, my last question.
She wasn't listening at all. You could tell that dipshit was not listening whatsoever. Wow, that's so interesting. Moving on. Oh boy. Even your own people are turning on your horse shit. Because Elliot can't get a fucking sentence out. This is if you put this out in a transcript and tried to read it, it would be gibberish. None of these are sentences.
You started working at a young age. You had talent plus drive plus the skill set to apply that talent and drive, keep yourself as safe as you possibly could, and make it through to this healthy state where you are more and more and more yourself. As such a driven person who's also had sometimes it can
heap some more fucking accolades on the Academy Award or Oscar winner, whatever the fuck. Like, heap some more accolades. They're not comfortable enough in the chair next to you after you've sucked their fake dick for 30 minutes.
be unfortunate, the confirmation of success. How do you pause and step away and find rest?
Well, this now, I feel like I'm so much better at. But I think that's just because I'm comfortable. Like I can actually physically rest. I think just being
Sitting with yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
Just
Yeah, when I would go on my $1 million vacations after Inception, I just wasn't having a great time because I still had to put my hair in a ponytail. Just really ruining the fucking vibe. But, I wasn't ready to transition yet. It wasn't a hot button enough issue yet to do it. So people have been transitioning for years, but I felt this strongly for my entire life, but like I waited until it was really, like really big in the news and my career was really sucking to do it. That's
being more comfortable in my
Right.
body. So for me now, I don't know, it's pretty simple. I'm really I love walking my dog,
Hell yeah.
getting to check in, see friends, spend time with my wonderful girlfriend.
if you didn't know what this was, if you just sat down and watched this shit apropos of nothing, you don't know who Elliot Page or Ellen Page is, you just see this human being. Do you think this is a man or a woman? This is like a Mario Bosco situation to me, where I would immediately assume it's a woman. Like, even with the shitty, goofy haircut, this is still someone that presents to me feminine. Like, they can cosplay all they want. They can act like this is Comic-Con with their little outfits and pretend that they're a fucking working man with their shirt over their shirt, Tony two shirts kind of thing. Just be yourself, man. If you want to identify as a dude, fine, but stop trying to fucking fit into a costume. Stop trying to put this out as some kind of, like, statement to the world that you're a type of man or something. It's ridiculous, dude.
I love to read.
Yeah, you strike me as a reader.
Oh, I love to read.
love
Oh
to
my
read.
God, how
Bragging.
fucking exciting.
Elliot Page, bragger, author and reader.
It just really calms me. It's
Yeah.
just like that
Yeah.
is actually what in the evening and just a couple hours of that, like that is
Okay, I'm tired of this shit. I imagine these two are like the Hollywood evil type, where after this interview, they just stick some kind of weird like tentacle comes out of their neck and feeds into the other one, and they exchange information and fucking payment that way. Like that's once you get down to this lizard level of horse shit, I think that's what's going on here. Kim's at least having fun. Thank God for Kimbo Lee. I've apparently turned a lot of people off today with my discussion, which is fine. I don't give a shit. But I've had like people come in and they stay for a minute and then they're like, I don't want to hear this, and they leave. That's fine. I think I'm having a great episode, and I think people are going to watch this from the beginning and say, hey, he knows what he's talking about. And I'm not being offensive either. I'm being realistic here. But what I do want to show next, Elliot mentioned that when they were Ellen Page, all their pictures were frowning and all this stuff, and now that they're Elliot, they're smiling and all this stuff. So let's just look at a couple pictures here. I'm not. They are not wrong. Can I click that a little better? No. Yeah, it's like totally. I mean, and now I got to share this tab, son of a bitch. Yeah, totally. That's what I'd call that's a real smile. That's a real smile, fine. But then you go over to Ellen Page. Oh wait, check out young Ellen. Oh wait. Oh wow, that's such a fake. Like, I hate my life. I wanna kill everyone. Smile. Like that's so fake, man. I hate when people are faking their smiles like that. It's so crazy, dude. But the picture disappeared here. I had a picture and it disappeared. Oh man. Oh dude, they were so upset. They were hating life. They were hating life so much during this. And then, oh wait, right around the time of the transition, oh hey, the smile has disappeared because now we are in serious world. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? I don't know, man. You tell me. Every time I see an interview with this person, they look so fucking put upon. Yeah, look at this shit. They look so fucking put upon. I don't understand. Why did you transition if all you're going to do is be upset now? What were you doing this for? If you want to like a certain thing or not like a certain thing or dress a certain way, but this whole idea of like, hey, let's cosplay. I don't get it, man. it doesn't make sense to me, dude. I hope I'm not offending anyone. It is what it is. And, I hope they can live a happy, healthy life. I don't wish ill on anyone. I just think that this type of ideology where it's like you have to fit into a box based on what you think masculinity is, and you've been identifying as a man for 5 years. That's just the gall of someone. Like, I wouldn't move to. I've been in Colorado 5 years. I wouldn't refer to myself as a Coloradian or whatever the fuck. Like, I still barely learning. I know the area, but I don't know it that well. To say like I totally understand a gender switch after 5 years is just, it's insulting to people, I think. And I think people realize that type of stuff. That's why Elliot is getting dragged. And rightfully so, because the explanation of masculinity was having a good cry and having a banana. I'll say it again. I said it earlier, but for anyone who's catching on at the end, being a man is not, when I watch Miami Vice, I don't say, okay, Don Johnson is wearing this type of clothes and he smiles this type of way and he answers questions. That's something a 15-year-old kid does. Once you're a man, meaning once you're fucking old enough to drink, basically, but once you're in your 20s, you shouldn't be trying to conform to these imaginary standards. Whatever makes you feel confident without being a fucking dick, but like I said, like a Johnny Lawrence, whatever helps you be yourself and be the best version of yourself is what being a man is what being a woman is. Whatever, like I said, if a woman wants to wear a low-cut top, if she wants to show off her ass, if she wants to go and be a mathlete, or she wants to go fucking lift weights, or she wants to go be an artist, all those things are feminine. All those things encompass femininity. None of them are toxic femininity. Masculine, some guys might want to lift weights. Some guys might want to be gay. There's nothing emasculine about being a gay dude necessarily. I think people just need to open up their brains a little bit. And then you have Elliot and Ilana coming on here trying to be like, well, actually, being a man is this defined set of rules that someone who's been a man for 5 years, is telling you what it is. And they can't even form fucking sentences about it. So it's not real. It's some kind of drivel that they came up with ahead of time. They're not speaking from the heart, like I am about this. Because it's reality. I want people to be able to live their lives as they see fit. If you want to identify as a woman, that's fine. If you want to identify as a man, that's fine. Do your thing. When we start getting into cats and other species, I don't understand that. I don't understand the whole non-binary thing, meaning you fit between. I don't get that. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. I don't think they should be kept from marrying. I don't think they should be kept from bathrooms. I do think they should be kept from sports. Pretty simple across the board there. I have my answers. If you hate me, leave comments. If you love me, leave more comments to fight the bad ones. So that's it, though. As someone who has lived a life as a man and has gone through the trials and tribulations of a man, the failures of being a man, the times that you do well as a man, I can't see it being that different than being a woman. In 99% of the respects, men have strengths and weaknesses. Women have strengths and weaknesses. One is not inherently better than the other. There is a woman out there that can run faster, lift more weights than me. All that. There's also a person in a wheelchair that can do the same. There's always going to be those exceptions, but I think we need to stop worrying about the ways we're different and start thinking about the ways we're similar. And that's. Elliot went through experiences as a woman and is now trying to frame them through being a man, that's not what masculinity is. You don't frame it through certain other things. You just be yourself. You try to be the best version of yourself, and you try to lift up the people around you. So, men don't smile. Come on, yeah. The whole thing in the conversation there. I'm not going to go back now and look at the clips, but it's like the idea that Elliot was struggling with. Oh, well, if someone asks for a picture, do I smile or do I not smile? It's like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do that day? I've taken plenty of pictures, both smiling and not smiling, showing teeth, not showing teeth. Like, I remember on a dating app, some woman was like, "You're not showing enough teeth in your fucking smile." I was like, "Okay." I sent one back like that. She thought I had like missing teeth or something. I don't understand. Stop putting people in boxes. All right. Anyway, that was the Wednesday show. If you're catching this from the ending, please go back to the beginning. You can hear the story about how I tried to save a baby rabbit, but was thwarted by nature. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Check out my nice Nigeria football jersey. I've been a fan of the Nigerian Football Association, their team, since the 90s. In the 94 World Cup, they did a great showing. In the 98 World Cup, Nike started sponsoring them, and they started having really nice jerseys. And then in high school, one of my favorite teachers was a Nigerian man. He was the son of the chieftain of his tribe, and he was a very rich and very well-off Nigerian man who still chose to drive like an hour a day each way to come teach at our school. He was a fascinating man. If I could look him up and have him on an interview, I would, because Peter Umo, thank God for you. You were an amazing teacher, an amazing man. But yeah, he was Nigerian, and I've always, whenever I've come across a Nigerian man, I know the whole Nigerian email scam is a thing or whatever. I've never met a Nigerian that was not polite and not awesome. So I love representing them. They have great uniforms, and they have great colors. And I love the way Nike does their job. I don't know. I think they didn't make the World Cup this year. Did Nigeria make? I don't think they did. Yeah, they did not qualify. The Super Eagles. What a badass name. Only the coolest African teams have badass names. You got the Nigeria Super Eagles. You got the Cote d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast. They're the elephants, I believe. There's got to be more. I just know those two because those are my two favorite. So. But anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your hump day. Me and Zig, I might pop back on later for some gaming, and I might start trying a nighttime schedule also, because this daytime schedule, it's very iffy with when people can stop by and stuff. Whereas at nighttime, I feel like I'm starting to put together enough of a show that I can start doing this at night and competing with shows. I might not be ready for like an 8 p.m. time slot, because that's like prime time. But I can maybe go with like either a 7 p.m. or a 10 p.m. time slot. I think that might be my bread and butter, man. So, Southern, I'm talking to you, my friend, and the other people that are here. Southern style Tennessee. I don't, but yeah. All right. Well, that was a great stream. Southern style. You got here just too late to actually get some fun out of me, because I was not here to keep talking right now. But 5 people watching out of nowhere. Guys, go back to the beginning of the stream. If you want to help out, please hit the like button on your way out. If you are interested in following mine and Ziggy's hijinks, please follow us on Instagram. You can also member up on YouTube or join our Patreon if you want to help support the cause and support just having these things keep happening on a regular schedule. So, like I said, I'll be back either later tonight or at the latest tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, before we start trying out a nighttime schedule also. But I'll see you next time. Have a good rest of your day. Take care, everyone.